Lakers will match up? Who do you think wins the series? If so, how many games? Like, give us your general rundown, and then we'll dive into like the ins and outs.
No. So yeah. So it's gonna be very, very interesting. Let me start by saying I think that my overall prediction is gonna be Lakers and 7. And that is, if the series could go further, I feel like it would go further. So like I feel like yes, this Lakers team is completely different. And even Steph said it in his post game, right? He was like, we faced them a couple times, after the whole midseason trade, and they look completely different. And he's right. I think Steve Kerr said the same thing, but the teams are evenly matched. And I say evenly matched because what the Lakers have over them in depth, I feel like the Warriors have an experience. Now, I can't see the Warriors finding a way to. I can see them finding a way to manage LeBron. They've done it in the past, right? LeBron knows this team very well. This team knows LeBron very well. But I can't see them finding a way to manage LeBron and somehow contain LeBron at the same time containing Davis, if Davis is not a weapon to himself, right? Because I mean, this last series, he had one or two big games, really one big game. But I think that if Davis can come out and like be him, if AD can be AD and like, take the reins, I think that, the series actually might be over quicker than 7, but that's if AD can come out and really, just really be him. It's only concerning because the Warriors have so much experience. They're very true. Like the Warriors are all about like, hey, whether we're down 30 or up 30, we're going to play our game. We're going to stick to our strategy. And in the last series, they kind of woke up, which is, it's kind of scary. You don't want a team like that to like finally, okay, like, hey, we're back, like we don't, especially coming into this series. But, what was very, very interesting, like when it comes to AD is that like we credit him for being such a great offensive player he is. But I think Nick Wright, I believe it was Nick Wright. Nick Wright said it very interesting. I think he's a defensive first player. I think AD can get going offensively if he can get the defense going. And I think that is like always been him. He's developed into a great offensive player, but like from the very, very beginning, I believe he was a defensive player. So like, I think the key to the winning this series is getting him going, because without him, you're pretty much playing LeBron. Okay, I'm not going to call it the LeBron Cleveland team, but let's just say everything matches up, whatever. Kyrie makes up for most of our team, right? So you're pretty much playing LeBron in like Cleveland, without AD. So if AD doesn't show up, it's going to be a tough series for us, but we need AD to perform. So yeah, there you have it. I got Lakers in 7. It's going to be I don't think it's going to be an easy series for us, but I think we can pull ahead.
So personally, I think it goes two ways. I think Lakers either win in 5 or 6 or they lose in 7. I think if it goes to a game 7 in Golden State, I don't know if the Lakers are going to be able to beat the Warriors in a game 7. And a lot of that goes into the experience, right? Steph is going to show up that game. It would take, not that they can't win it. Of course they can. One game, anything can happen. And you still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis at the end of the way. They could close it out if you needed to. LeBron goes off for 50. He gave the Warriors a 56 piece earlier in the year. Something like that could happen. But I think realistically, Lakers win one of these 2 home games.
Yeah.
Ideally, game 1. Because if you win game 1, you basically set the tone the rest of the way. The Warriors are now have to win game 2 or the series is over. If they lose game 2, it's done. Lakers might sweep that series. I don't really think they're going to sweep it, but I think very likely it'll be very similar to the Grizzlies. I think Lakers win game 1 or 2. They win both their home games. Warriors win in Golden State. Lakers come home, close it out. That's what I think happens, because otherwise you're going into a game 7 against a team that has more likelihood of just shooting the lights out than you do, right? And that's what you don't want. Anthony Davis is obviously going to be the biggest key in this series. They just don't have anybody to stop Anthony Davis. And I've seen a lot of people. Exactly. I've seen a lot of people say, well, Draymond defends AD well. He defends AD so well that he's averaging 25, 12, and 3 against Draymond Green. Like that, I mean, that's basically his average, right? And that's for his whole career. When you look at like just the Lakers, since he's been on the Lakers, he's averaging like 29, 13. And so it's even worse, right? Because I mean, AD had like 6-point games early in his career when he was like a rookie and stuff like that against the Warriors. But so like Anthony Davis, this should be a monstrous game. I'm curious to see what are the Warriors going. Do the Warriors just kind of let AD go crazy and get 30 a game, and just put Kevon Looney on AD and have Kevon do the best that he can, and then just have AD kind of play, or not AD, Draymond play in that kind of spy role, that scout role, where he's just the help defender everywhere. And then just if the Lakers just beat them with AD, then they beat them with AD. Or do they try to defend AD similar to what Memphis did? The problem is that Memphis had Triple J and Tillman, who Triple J is the defensive player of the year. He's hyper athletic, shot blocking big, and basically got like no whistle. Like that dude couldn't foul to save his life. Now, very likely that'll be the Warriors scenario, but AD, like Draymond and Looney together, don't get me wrong, Draymond is still one of the best defenders in the league, but Anthony Davis has just so much more size on them than, I mean, Triple J with his athleticism, he's still like 6'10", 6'11". So he's not like where Draymond's like 6'7", 6'8". Kevon Looney's
he's
like
small.
Kevon Looney's like 6'9", 6'10", something like that. So Anthony Davis should dominate that matchup. And they're not, and here's the thing too. The Grizzlies were able to do that to Anthony Davis because they had the perimeter defenders, right? They had Ja Morant, who was a solid defender this year. Desmond Bane, who was a solid defender this year. As much as we like to make fun of and pick on Dillon Brooks is a good defender. So they were able to allow Triple J and Tillman to pack the paint on Anthony Davis because they had their 3 wing defenders, the 3 perimeter defenders that could, kind of contain or try to contain the front, right? The Warriors don't have that. They have Andrew Wiggins, don't get me wrong, but Klay is not who he once was as a defender, and Steph Curry is not who he was. Klay Thompson this year was worse than league average defensively. So
is that for the season or is that for the playoffs though? Because he looked pretty good
whole year.
But he looked
even worse.
I don't know. He looked pretty good in that last game 7.
Playoffs, he's even worse. He's bad in the playoffs.
Well,
he's really bad in the playoffs.
It's just, but that's the thing though. With the Warriors, it's all about clutch moments. Like, they haven't been a good defense or a good road team, but like, I feel like if they have to be, they will. So like, I don't with the Warriors. Warriors are one of those teams where I don't feel like the regular season stuff applies to them so much, just because like they're the Warriors, and that's where it's hard.
Playoffs. Look, you're right. Playoffs and regular season are 2 very different things, but there is a lot. The reason regular season is good is because there are things that you can take away that'll give you an idea, right? In a 7-game series. Now, of course, we've seen teams get swept in the regular season, lose all 4 games to a team. LeBron did it yearly. Like Atlanta used to sweep LeBron every regular season series, and same thing with Toronto. And then